Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. So today I will be customizing the Towser-K from Kizer. Really excellent blade, love the design, and the action is really good on this knife. So really quick before we get into it, I'll throw the specs up on screen and we'll just dive right into it. We have a sheep's foot style blade made of 154 cm steel. You have dual thumb studs for deployment, excellent jimping on the top and the bottom of the blade, little flat spot here. The blade is riding on bearings. It is a liner lock style blade, as you guys can see right there, and it does have red linen micarta scales. It's got a reversible deep carry pocket clip, so you guys can see left or right hand, and you do have a dual option of carrying it, so you can go ultra deep like it is now, or you can just go, I guess, regular deep carry, so move it down a notch, which will put the pocket clip just a little bit below the scales. You have two standoffs separating the liners, and then a nice, pretty wide lanyard hole to put your lanyard through. So the ergos on this knife are really good. It's just enough space and doesn't really force your fingers into a certain spot. I mean, it kind of does, but it's not a kind of a sharp ending point where your fingers don't have really anywhere else to go. Since my middle finger is hitting this bump here, but it's not uncomfortable, so it feels really good in hand. And since you have this little jimped area or a flat spot, you can actually choke up comfortably and get a good grip with your finger. And like I've said before, the action on this is it's really good. Again, it just drops shut. Spidey flick it, thumb flick it, no problem. And yeah, really no complaints about this knife. And I think it's beautifully designed. So I guess we can get to the changes that I'll be doing. So I'll be changing the scales from the red linen micarta to the Siesta G-Carta from G-Carta. Just beautiful stuff that Greg made here. And I think this knife would be perfect for it since it's a longer knife. And this material is a little bit thinner, which I think will work perfectly with this knife. And I haven't decided on whether I'll etch and stone wash the blade. And then for sure, I know I'm going to be doing a custom pocket clip made of carbon fiber or fat carbon, just to go with the black on the Siesta G-Carta here. So now that we talked about it and the changes that I'll be doing to it, let's take this thing apart and see what we got going on the inside. Alright, so here it is all taken apart. Very basic setup, not too much going on. And then I just saw that these are the, I want to say the multi-row or cage bearings, but it does have a lot of bearings, which is now understandable why it's so smooth. So that's pretty cool, I didn't know that. And there we go, all taken apart, so let's get to customizing it. so here it is all finished. Now I guess we can start with the scales to the show side. And that tung oil really made those colors pop, which I think it looks really, really good. Very happy with the outcome. And then as you guys saw with the pocket clip, I had to do, since I hid the hardware, I had to go from underneath. I had to recess the pocket clip screws from underneath the scale. So I had to sink them in down just a bit. And I chose to just use a different spot for my pocket clip. I kept it as close as I could to the edge and just deep enough to, it's not deep carry, but it is deep enough to where it's just a little bit out of your pocket. So you can kind of see what's going on in the pocket. You know, have a little eye candy sticking out. And again, I'm not really a fan of deep carry pocket clips anyway, so that's why I went that route with this one. And speaking of the pocket clip, really, really happy with how it turned out. And I was deciding whether to go with the black camo or with the gold camo. And I landed on the gold camo since I did heat anodize some parts or hardware parts to go with this pocket clip. So just love this material. And there's that really cool, again, really cool area where it is not seen, unfortunately, since it is underneath the pocket clip. But again, I will be doing a knife with these scales and doing that texture just to get that really cool round circled effect. Really hypnotizing. For the customizing part of the video, I went from underneath, so no holes, hidden hardware, and always, every time I do this style pocket knife, I'm always scared of exposing the hole that I drill. But again, I was just very patient, took my time removing that material, and I didn't go all the way through, so really happy with that. And I think it goes really well with the knife. And I was considering etching the blade, but I didn't want to go too dark with the whole knife, so I just kept everything unetched, because again, the light with the dark goes really well. And the other thing I did was I heat anodized the barrel spacers, the stop pin, and I think that's it. Oh, and the thumb studs, since I wanted a little contrast with that, again, with that gold in the pocket clip. And I did heat anodize the pivot pin and the hardware screws, but I just didn't like how it looked, so I just got rid of the heat anodizing color, and that's pretty much it. So let's put this thing together and see what it looks like. So here it is all put together. I think it looks really, really good. Again, nice pop of color with that Siesta G-Carta. Really, really happy with how this stuff turned out. And then we have the custom pocket clip here on this side, gold camo, fat carbon. Just a beautiful material. It's just a nice, cool shift in the light. And it isn't a deep carry like I mentioned before, but you have about this much sticking out of your pocket, so you know, lets people know that something interesting is in the pocket. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like deep carries. It kind of hides the knife, so, which is a good thing in some cases. In other cases, I just like to have something to grab onto without pinching the pocket. But anywho, the action should be, yes, it's still good, and it should drop shut really, really well as it did before, which it does. Even without the mods, this knife is excellent. I highly recommend this knife if you guys can pick one up. If I find anything on Amazon or White Mountain Knives, I will put it in the description down below. But there it is, all customized. And I do like how the gold from the gold camo goes with the heat anodized thumb studs, the barrel spacers back here, and then the stop pin. Just has a cool contrast against the satin finish liners, and then the blade as well. Again, I didn't want to etch and stone wash the blade because I think it would have just made it too dark, and I think this is a lot better. Let me know what you guys think down below of how this thing turned out. If I should have etched and stone washed the blade, but I don't know. I think I went the right route with leaving it alone. Looks really good in my opinion. But that is it. Here is the Kizer Towser-K in Siesta G-Carta scales. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for the support. And I will see you guys on the next one.